President Emmanuel Macron went to the White House with a major mission to convince President Trump to stay in the Iran nuclear deal. So, is an even bigger deal now the answer? And is Donald Trump really on board? The panel tonight, Steve Rogers is here. He's a member of Donald Trump's re-election campaign advisory board. Erin Gloria Ryan is a senior editor at the Daily Beast. Max Boot is a CNN global affairs analyst and senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. And Samantha Vinograd is a CNN national security analyst, former advisor to the National Security Council under President Obama. Thanks all so much for being here. Where shall we begin? Samantha, let's just start with Iran. Trump and Macron are now, as it comes out in this press conference that they had, now talking about possibly an even bigger deal. Not a new deal necessarily, but maybe a supplemental deal. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think anybody really knows, but I do think that Macron knew how to play Trump like a fiddle on this one. He ostensibly has given Trump what Trump needed to say that he got a win, that he has gotten something that will further constrain Iran's abilities in the region. When in fact, from what we know, Kate, this is a deal on paper only. Iran, Russia, and China are probably not going to sign. It's going to be the European countries. So it won't actually do anything, but will allow President Trump to say, I'm being tougher on Iran than President Obama, and look what I got for it.
Max, if it gives him the ability to count a win, if it gives him the ability to say, I'm in it to win it now, is that okay?
Well, I think it's better than blowing up the Iran deal without having a plan B, which was what we were looking at come May 12th. So if Macron offers him an off-ramp from that self-defeating course of action, I think that's a good thing. But, you know, another sign of how hard it is to follow what the heck Donald Trump is saying and how his impulses are constantly at war with one another, the very same day that he's denouncing the Iran nuclear deal, you know, worst deal ever, horrible, awful, etc., he's then praising Kim Jong-un, saying that he's open and honorable, and he's talking about how he's looking forward to negotiating with them. So he wants to shred one nuclear deal and negotiate another one. It really doesn't add up.
I want you hold your fire on North Korea because I want to get there. But Steve, a little bit what Max was saying. I mean, if you followed Donald Trump throughout the day, the deal was a disaster. Iran is horrible. They should have never have agreed to the deal. And then he and Emmanuel Macron were getting close to having an agreement among themselves, and then he did not contradict Emmanuel Macron when he was talking about a bigger deal that they'd be talking about. Did Emmanuel Macron convince Donald Trump, or is something else at play?
I think something else is at play, and remember, Donald Trump is a negotiator, but Kay, let's keep in mind that there have been a lot of things happening in this past 2 weeks, and they all interlock. That strike in Syria was a big deal for Syria and Russia, but it also was a big deal and a big signal to Iran and to North Korea. That's number one. Number two, there is something that also occurred over the past 2 weeks. The presidents of the Baltic nations were here, and their common thread was, we trust Donald Trump's judgment and his decision-making, and I think you're seeing that in President Macron. He's trusting the president's movement on this particular issue, and they're going to come together and maybe make a bigger and better deal that'll benefit everyone.
In the most immediate, Erin, is there any indication what this means for the imminent May 12th deadline where President Trump needs to certify or not that Iran is complying with the deal?
I'm going to go ahead and agree with Sam here. I think that President Trump was played like a fiddle today. And I think we know about President Trump's decision-making process is that the last person that he talked to is the person that has the most influence over him.
But if he hears that and hears that he's been played like a fiddle, he's going to turn around and hit back so hard on Emmanuel. I mean, he's going to flip one.
Fiddle.
But yeah, that's true. There you go, Max.
But Macron is an expert at dealing with him. He uses adjectives that Donald Trump likes. He likes big. He likes better. He likes stronger. He likes tougher. And Macron uses those words. I think if we can somehow lock Donald Trump in a closet until May 12th, and Macron is the last person that he spoke to about this, then I think we might be moving towards something better than what he had planned.
So in the reality we work in, none of that's going to happen.
Okay, Macron, I agree with you. Bigger, better, Macron, but he also believes in being successful. This is a successful president, and you're going to see a very successful deal come out of this.
I will tell you, though, a lot of folks are wondering if Donald Trump has already conceded that the Iran deal has been successful, because when he offered up the warning to Iran and said, if you restart your nuclear program, we're going to come at you, you're going to have bigger troubles than you've ever seen before, acknowledging if you restart your nuclear program, meaning it's stopped. It's the opposite of that right now. But Max, you and I talked about North Korea earlier this week. What do you make of now we've gone from fire and fury with North Korea to very open and very honorable? When you heard the president say that about Kim Jong-un today, what did you think?
My jaw dropped, frankly. I mean, I actually checked to see, is this the Onion? Is he actually calling Kim Jong-un, going from calling him a little rocket man and threatening fire and fury to calling him open and honorable? I mean, both sets of comments are so extreme that they're insane. Before he was...
Yeah, they can't both be...
Right,
they cannot both be true.
They cannot both be true, and they're both dangerous and naive and don't make any sense, because before he was basically saber-rattling with nuclear weapons, which is a very dangerous thing to do, and now he's gone from being a warmonger to being all but an appeaser, where he says, basically saying that he trusts Kim Jong-un. There's no reason to trust the guy. He presides over the most repressive regime on the planet. He killed his own uncle. He killed his half-brother. This is not somebody in whom you should repose trust. But Trump is tweeting that Kim Jong-un has already agreed to denuclearization, which is just flat-out false. I mean, Kim is basically stringing him along, kind of in the way that we've been talking about.
This word really stuck out to me, and to everyone, Steve. Honorable?
Hey, Kate, there's a methodology to this. Look, when I arrested, especially mob guys, the toughest, meanest people in the world, I would call them every name in a book. As soon as they said, look, you're an honorable guy, we could talk. Man, people would start to talk. He's softening the target. That's what the president's doing.
But is that what you want to do to Kim Jong-un? He's going to use that for 25 years in his country about the country.
Kate, he's scared to death. After the missile strikes, he's scared to death.
Stand by, guys. A lot more to come, including this.